Okay, good. Thank you. So everyone can hear me okay? Yeah, okay. So 5:04, we have one more minute and I will start.
Okay.
Okay.
About 16 people. Thank you all for joining us tonight. For those of us who just came in, this is the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting where we'll be hearing a proposal from Valerie Summer, South San Francisco Public Library Director, regarding a proposal to rename the Community Learning Center after the late Gene Mullin, former South City High teacher, as well as a former state assembly member.
Okay.
And there's Mr. Asbra.
We're good to go now. Okay.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, everybody, and thank you for coming. I'm Valerie Summer, Library Director, City of South San Francisco, and I have my planning cohort and co-facilitator, Peter Fang, the PIO, the Public Information Officer from the South San Francisco Unified School District. And I really appreciate the committee members for volunteering to be on this committee. In lieu of roll call, I think I will do really quick introductions. And if you can give us a wave when I say your name so that the people at home can see who I'm speaking about, and I'll do it alphabetically. Starting with Edith Arias, and Edith is a commissioner on the South San Francisco Commission on Racial and Social Equity. She's a local parent, and Edith runs a family support group, Familias Fuertes, who meet at the CLC. Second one is Kevin Asbra, principal, South San Francisco High School. Third down is Hector Camacho. Hector is a board member and current president of the San Mateo County Board of Education, and I'm also lucky to have Hector as a board member on the Library Board of Trustees. Next is Nicole Fernandez, District Director, Office of California State Senator Josh Becker. Want to give a wave? And last but not least is Susan Kennedy, Communications Director, Office of California State Assembly Speaker Pro Tem Kevin Mullin. So again, thank you all for coming. I know we want to give a shout out and a big thank you to Superintendent Moore for her support and assistance with this process. We have prepared a short PowerPoint based on the packets you received with the staff report and the attachments. The PowerPoint basically highlights Gene's community services and focus on education in South San Francisco. So let me take a moment to share my screen. Let's see here. And everyone can see that? Are you all viewing the PowerPoint now?
No.
No? Peter, can you see the PowerPoint?
Can everybody see it?
No.
Not yet?
Well, I did share screen. Let me get back to the, okay, share. Now you can see
There
it.
we go, there we go.
Sorry. Yeah, one more thing. It's always another step. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do something here, there. Gene Mullin passed away on April 5th, 2021. I'm sorry, you have some of these extra things on here. I wish I can lower them, but I can't seem to. A public request was made to honor Gene's contributions to the South San Francisco community by renaming the Community Learning Center in his honor. The family, led by Assembly Speaker Pro Tem Kevin Mullin, is in favor of this honor. The CLC building is owned by the South San Francisco Unified School District, and we're very, very fortunate to be able to share in this partnership that benefits the residents and the families in South San Francisco. Gene was a longtime school district teacher and a strong advocate for learning opportunities, as well as this distinct partnership provided by city staff via the CLC after-school homework programs, or Learning Hub, as we called during the pandemic, as well as support for local families. It's a learning center, beautiful building. It is located at 520 Tamarack Lane on the Spruce Elementary School campus. And the Learning Center, or the CLC, was created to serve educational needs of South San Francisco residents with input from community, South San Francisco city and school district staff, as well as local organizations, representatives from local nonprofits and organizations. We opened on March 21st, 2001, after a year at a temporary site also in the Old Town community. And the CLC focuses on family support, ESL classes, literacy programming, and our essential after-school homework programs. Prior to his passing, Gene designated the CLC for any memorial donations in his honor. Gene led the outreach and community feedback initiatives in the original CLC program planning. We held 3 public meetings at the Grand Avenue Library in late 97 and early 1998 to fine-tune community feedback to address parent-family learning and basic skills tutoring for youth adults, all focused on the Old Town neighborhood in South San Francisco. Gene went a step further. In addition to being at the public meetings and getting the word out and soliciting feedback from community and community partners, he surveyed his high school students. 102 out of 133 students responded, and they overwhelmingly supported the concept of a community learning center. And they, in particular, they stressed the importance of providing their younger siblings with a strong path to lifelong success. You know, one reason for us focusing on elementary school students came out of the feedback that he received from his high school students. Gene has made many contributions to South San Francisco. He was a beloved teacher at South San Francisco High School for 32 years. Gene was on the City Council, South City City Council from 95 to 2002, and mayor in 98 and 2002. Previous to that, he was a planning commissioner. Gene co-founded, along with former mayor and council member Roberta Telia, the Joint City School District Youth Government Day program. Again, a strong advocate in planning and also launching the Community Learning Center programs and services. Throughout his life, Gene served on a variety of local boards, including Ability Path, Hip Housing, close to my heart, the South San Francisco Public Library Foundation, the San Mateo County Historical Society, Bay Bio, Families on Track, which was the program at Parkway Heights Middle School, and Seton Medical Center. He was elected to the California State Assembly for the 19th District, serving from 2002 to 2008. And during this time, Gene was the chair of the Housing Committee and, of course, the chair of the Assembly Education Committee. Definite great committees to be on, always with South San Francisco in his mind, advocating for us. Highlights of public service on City Council. Gene participated in many City Council subcommittees. Probably most importantly is the City School District Liaison Committee, which still meets. Very influential in the CLC, as well as in increasing the number of community child care centers here in South San Francisco and child care spots. Acted on board of directors for many education-related groups. He was a strong advocate and supporter for workforce housing and the first-time homebuyers program, using, I think, through his teacher lens, and again, very active with the Youth Government Day program. While up in Sacramento, Gene authored 3 bills to support childcare, including creating an incentive for developers to include childcare in their plans, increasing the number of children allowed in family daycare homes, and extending the childcare tax credit for employers. Gene authored 2 bills improving education opportunities for students, one to allow them to develop websites and another to ensure the GED test prep is available to incarcerated youth. Gene authored 2 bills supporting CalSTRS members, teachers and school district staff members looking forward to retirement. And he also repeatedly advocated to extend the right to vote to 17-year-olds who would turn 18 by the next general election. History collection connections very close to my heart. I'm on the board of the South San Francisco Historical Society, of which Gene was a longstanding member. And in fact, in 2010, he was honored with the 2010 Victor John Feudal Award. It is the premier award from the Historical Society, and it acknowledged his outstanding service to the South San Francisco community for his advocate and support and preservation of local history. Gene was a wonderful master of ceremonies for the Society's annual award and fundraising banquet for over 20 years. He was a board member for San Mateo County Historical Association. He was on the local preservation commission, and it was a lot of fun through the years working with Gene. He was involved in several local history initiatives and research projects with the library and with the Historical Society and Museum, including an update on the South San Francisco Once Upon a Time History of South San Francisco coloring book. The book is given to every third grade student in the district. He prepared a document on the celebration of the 100 years of South San Francisco Unified School District high school education, and always editing and improving and preparing updates to his renowned South San Francisco personalities list, as well as a list of personalities memorialized in South San Francisco facilities, which is quite apropos for this meeting. I do want to point out that the second one, he had included a list of other personalities without named facilities. And 3 of the people on his list have now been honored by naming opportunities. The first one being Roberta Telia, the first woman councilwoman in South San Francisco and mayor. She has been honored with the renaming of the Magnolia Senior Center. We had a recent ribbon cutting there in South San Francisco. Alice Bulos, our leader of our local Filipino community. This Saturday, we will honor her memory by renaming the Westboro Recreation Center in her honor. And soon to come, when the Caltrain station, the new one, South San Francisco Caltrain station opens up, we will be naming the Caltrain Plaza after the former city council and member and mayor, Carol Matsumoto. So always thinking ahead, and I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to propose Gene. It also is included on that honorable list. Gene received many awards and recognitions through his career and his community service work. San Mateo County Teacher of the Year, California Teacher Association State Teacher of the Year in Politics, Excellence in Teaching Award, Mentor Teacher for the school district from 85 through 99. He was named Legislator of the Year by over 24 organizations while he served in Sacramento, including the 2005 award from the League of California Cities. Very well deserved, and more. I wasn't able to list everything on this page. So going forward, it's an honor to be able to suggest this proposal to rename the Community Learning Center in honor of the life and legacy of one of South San Francisco's most outstanding teachers, civic leaders, council members, and state legislators. And in your packet, let me just look at, just speak to a few of the items I attached to your packet. One being the plaque that is posted in the Community Learning Center. The tagline, first of all, Gene is the vice mayor on this plaque. When we opened, he was still on council. And the tagline for the Community Learning Center is opening doors to success, which is something Gene fervently believed in. We also have included the leaving office resolution when Gene retired from city council and moved to be an assembly member representing us in Sacramento. There is a wonderful list of commendations and acknowledgements of Gene's public services and accomplishments while he was on council. And then there's a proclamation given to him in 2002 by that year's Youth in Government mock city council. It was the year that Gene was elected to Sacramento, and he gave a speech to the Youth in Government participants that year. And I'd like to read one line from the proclamation. Whereas Gene has a proven record of community leadership and is committed to improving the state educational system for South San Francisco and the county of San Mateo. Therefore, the Student City Council of the City of South San Francisco hereby issue this proclamation in honor of Eugene R. Mullin for his continued dedication to the Youth Government Day program. I'm just very proud to be here today and to be able to present these accolades and these accomplishments of a wonderful city council member and community member. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and I will hand the meeting over to Peter to solicit any community feedback that you all want to make. So it's the public comment section of our agenda now. Thank you.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much, Valerie. That was a wonderful presentation. I have to say, as part of the agenda and the attachments you sent out, I enjoyed reading about the history of South San Francisco High School in particular. So thank you for helping put that together.
You're welcome.
Okay, so looks like it is public comment time. So I'm going to look at everybody, my attendees. I've got, besides us, we have, looks like 10 other attendees currently. One of them, Krista Martinelli, left a very nice comment in the chat before leaving, saying that she supported this proposal and wants to convey her family's strong support. Are there any other participants who would like to make a public comment at this time? You can either raise your hands or enter into the chat. Okay, I see one hand up. Looks like Mark Nogales. So I believe for the school board meetings, we use a 3-minute timer for public comments. I suppose we'll follow suit with this, if that's okay with everybody. Yes? Yes? Okay. All right. So I'm going to choose Mark Nogales. Mark Nogales, thank you for joining us. What is your public comment?
Good evening, everyone. This is Vice Mayor Mark Nogales. This is kind of a little bit of a reunion, actually, for Gene, because I see a lot of friends with a lot of connections with Gene, and you know, I get very emotional when I talk about Gene, because many of you know that Gene was my high school teacher when I started out. And one of the things that he would do is he would make us go to his city council meetings. So not only would I see him in the morning, I would see him at night. But it was probably those meetings that inspired me and showed me that one person can make a difference. And it was from those meetings that inspired me to one day run for public office. I was very fortunate that Gene hired me as a staffer for him in the state assembly. And he told me that it was important to have representation on the table, at the table. And we talk about that now, but Gene was ahead of the game. He said that in terms of this California state legislature, there wasn't a lot of Filipinos who worked on legislative staff. It was important to have someone that looked like me on his staff to show that he cared and that he heard from the community that representation matters. And when I was thinking about running for city council, he also said it's been a long time coming for a Filipino to be on the city council. And now we have 2. I think Gene personifies what's best of South San Francisco. that you work hard and you care about your community, you can make a difference. So I wholeheartedly support this effort, and I'm looking forward to the day where we rename it after Gene, because he not only influenced me, but he influenced a lot of people, not only on this panel, but throughout San Mateo County and actually through the state of California. And now we see it with his son, Kevin, in terms of what he's doing and living on his legacy. And so I absolutely support renaming the CLC after Gene. And anything I could do in terms of the efforts, I will be happy to help. So thank you for the committee and recognizing Gene and potentially moving this forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you
And
very
I also
much.
like to mention, I'm actually speaking on behalf of myself in terms of the issue. But I can pretty much say I think my council also agrees with this effort as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nogales.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we will have Maurice Goodman. I'm going to reset my timer. All right, Mr. Maurice Goodman, welcome. Thank you for coming. Please share with us your public comments.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Maurice Goodman, and it is a tremendous honor to have known Gene Mullin, and I wholeheartedly support this proposal. Not just for what he meant to me, but what he meant to others, to the countless others that don't have the platform that we have, to have been able to exalt ourselves, or how he's been able to exalt us in such a way, but to those in the community, and particularly my brother. I had a brother who was had a history of being in and out of jail. We were born in San Francisco in the projects, and just never really saw ourselves getting out of that system or that trajectory of our life. And one time I was in college, I was at Skyline College actually as a student body president. I got a message from the then mayor, and I thought, wow, he's calling me for being student body president. I was like, wow, I thought that was something big, but it was like, no, I actually want to talk to you about your brother and see if your brother would be able to speak at a Black History celebration. I think it was one of the first and only or few celebrations that were held in South San Francisco. And it shook me to my core that he gave my brother an opportunity to have a voice, to feel acknowledged in such a way that really helped him try to attempt to change his life around. That never happened. He passed, due to some gang violence some years later, but it was that sense of hope that Gene gave him. And it was something that I carried with me all my life. Whenever I would bring it up to him, he said, oh, it was nothing, quit talking about that. But that's the guy that Gene Mullin was. And that meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to my family. So on behalf of all of the countless voiceless individuals within our community, I wholeheartedly support this opportunity to be able to name this. Hopefully this is one of many places that will be named for this great individual and stand-up individual as a statesman within our community. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goodman. Do we have any other public comments?
It looks like Carla Bourdon would be. She's a resident, plus she does work for the library, the Community Learning Center manager.
Okay, yes, looks like Ms. Bourdon put something into the chat. She reads, I am city staff, and if able, I'd be happy to speak to my reasons for supporting this initiative. Please do let me know if it would be appropriate. Okay, yes. Ms. Bourdon, please let us know what you think. I am putting you into the group into the group at this time. Please talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak. I am a South San Francisco resident for over 36 years at this point. I arrived here without speaking English at 7th grade, and Gene was my teacher at in South San Francisco High School. I know, as I share this with you, I also know that I'm not one. I also know that I'm one of many students that feel very proud to have been part of his legacy. I will say to you that one of my greatest and happiest moments was coming on board in 2000, knowing, walking into City Hall and seeing Gene giving a tour to students as he was a mayor at that time. And here I was coming on board to work on one of his projects, the Community Learning Center. I never knew that that would be so meaningful. I want you to hear. So here I am back again, 20 years back, 20 years over, and I'm coming back because this has been such a meaningful endeavor for all of us. It has been so meaningful and such a big project for everybody within our community. And I know that he cared deeply about the work that we did with this community learning center, beyond everything else that Gene did in the community. I want to say also that I want to say that it really stands out. That he would highlight the Community Learning Center as the project that he was very fond of. But I also want to say that it's probably the one project that also brought both his city and elected official endeavors, as well as the work that he did with the school district. So I feel that it has been very important for all of us to be able to have a precedent on how it is that we can work together. The Community Learning Center has meant so much to all of us. And one thing that I have to say is that many of the community that I've spoken to, they usually talk about how grateful they are for their ability to participate in these programs and the fact that these programs are available to them. But more so, I want to say that it is important that we all know that it was the right thing to do. And Gene was already thinking about that. He thought about the community and who needed to be a part of it. And he made sure that all of us were a part of that.
Thank you so much for your comments, Ms. Bordeaux. You were very heartfelt, and we appreciate them. Let's see, is anybody else ready to provide public comments? Would anybody else like to? Looking through the chat. Looks like Mr. Goodman still has his hand up. Anybody else? Now Mr. Goodman's put his hand down. I think that seems to be it in terms of public comments there. I don't see anything else in the chat. There were a couple questions in the chat with regard to public notification. I have responded with some of the information within the chat. Thank you for that question, Trustee Richardson. And I don't see anything else. So, Valerie, it seems like we can go on to the next part of the agenda.
Okay, I didn't respond in the chat, but we have been posting it on our calendar, the city's calendar, since last week, the meeting as well. I know that a lot of people have spoken to me about that. We did invite people who were interested in speaking. Probably just wasn't convenient to come out tonight, but this is I have found this is a topic that everyone agrees upon on renaming the CLC after Gene Mullin, and we hope to be able to move this on. But at this point, I'm going to open it up to the committee to express your thoughts on this proposal. So do you want me to go down alphabetically, or you just want to? Who wants to start? Raise a hand.
Well, I guess I'll start real quickly. I am in favor of the proposal to rename the Community Learning Center after Eugene Mullin, Mr. Mullin. Although I did not know Mr. Mullin personally, I know of him. The fact that he taught for 32 years at South San Francisco High makes him an establishment, makes him a legend. And he's meant so much to the community, both the city of South San Francisco, South San Francisco High School. And I believe in the packet you provided us, Valerie, with the history of South San Francisco High School, there were no less than 5 teachers of South San Francisco High School who have who have lent their names to various establishments, places, fields, etc. So I think Mr. Mullin certainly qualifies.
Thank you, Peter. Yeah. He's like an archivist for the school district for us, for our historical society. And he was always working on those documents and updating them. I was so appreciative. He was my go-to person for anything school district. Who is next, committee member?
I'll go ahead and speak just briefly.
Thank you.
I first became aware of Gene back in about 2000 when I came to South San Francisco High School as an assistant principal. And I came to know him because he would periodically pop onto campus and visit, and I met him that way. But there were people on our staff that knew him from when he was a teacher and spoke always with the utmost respect of his commitment, not only to the students and the school district, but his commitment to the city. And I left South San Francisco Unified in 2007, and I reconnected with him because I was the principal of a high school where he went to high school, and he was acknowledged in 2010. And I was principal at that time. So he and I reconnected at that time. He was always someone who spoke so highly of not only the high school that he loved and spent his entire career at, but the city of South San Francisco and his commitment to the city. So as the current principal of South San Francisco High School, I would definitely endorse the renaming of the Learning Center in honor of Gene Mullin, whose lifetime commitment was to the district, the school, and also to the city.
Thank you. Oh my, thank you. I think I saw Edith kind of raising her hand. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Well, what I want to add today is really, I also did not have I wasn't fortunate enough to meet him, but I've heard, I came to South San Francisco in about 2002 to live in South San Francisco and pretty much raised my 3 kids in the school district. But now as they're grown and I've been volunteering more in the community, I also have visited the Community Learning Center, and for what I've heard, what I know of him, and even friends that were students of him, I think the Community Learning Center really represents what everybody says and talks about him. Every time I enter the center is this place where you can feel people wanting to learn, people wanting to make the difference, and children really, having that opportunity of exploring, of learning. I volunteer in several activities that are presented there, and not only that, but also as a member of the community, being able to have a space where, you know, we have had like scholarship workshops. We have been able to really support other families and other students within the district just by having a space that is able that we can use for that, as well as Familias Fuertes, which is a support group for families who have children with special needs and are monolingual in Spanish. So I really believe that what I've heard and yes, the package, everything that I read definitely represents what his envision must have been of what this center was going to be and hopefully continues to be. So I wholeheartedly really support the naming of the center on his name.
Thank you, Edith. Let's see, I have, Nicole, thank you.
I did have the pleasure of knowing Gene. He served in so many different capacities, but I know him more on the professional side. He always had a lovely grace with people, but I knew him more in his elected official capacities. I didn't know him until he was an assembly member, and he is truly what elected officials should aspire to be. He did everything for his community, and so I cannot support this more, because if there was ever a organization that embodied his values more, it would be this learning center. And I really do believe that we should name it after him. It's his legacy. And I think it's really important to honor him and what he's given to this community. So, and also honored to serve on this panel. So thank you to staff and to everybody who invited us to be part of this.
Thank you. Who am I missing? I'm looking straight at him. Hector.
Me. Yeah, it's challenging. I don't know if Mark's still in the room, but it's challenging for those of us, and Carla, you're here too, to talk about Mr. Mullin because of the impact that he had on us. And so it just brings back memories of all of those instances in which he made us feel seen and valued. And as students of color traversing the world, to have someone of such stature, such influence, such everything, speak about us and to promote us and to see us and hear us, it changed our lives. And for me, it definitely changed my life. And I know I owe a lot of what I do today to his influence, his positive influence in my life. He was also, it's not too much in here, but he was also a St. Veronica's parishioner, which is where we have our families are parishioners as well. And so what I tell some people is that, every Saturday evening mass, Gene was back there, and he would always sit about 3 rows behind me. And I always knew that he was back there, and I always thought about, do I turn around, do I say hi? I always said hi, but he always gave me, he stood like this, you all know, right? And he stood in the room this tall, and he would look, and he'd go like that. But there's something about that image of him behind me. It was never about, I never felt when a really tall figure is standing behind you, sometimes you feel like scared or like that it's imposing. It never felt that way for me. In Mass, it was really reassuring for me. It was that he was there supporting me, even in his silence, even in his thought. He was there supporting me, whether it was physically in church or whether it was in any other community that I was engaging with. He, when I first started my service on the board, I know that Gene was working rooms, telling people about me. And he did not have to do that. He really didn't have to do that, but he knew that that was an important part of making sure that our communities were represented. And you can't really put words on what that means for people like us who are trying to give back to our communities, to have that person with so much agency, use their agency to help give that agency to other people. It started when we were in that classroom in room A2, I remember it very vividly. And when we were assigned roles for Youth in Government Day, and we had to split the roles between El Camino and South City. So it was always a question, who's gonna get to be mayor? Is it gonna be South City or El Camino? And Gene went through all the roles and he listed all the roles, and I had applied. and my name didn't come up. I was like, oh my gosh, did I not get it? And then class ended, and like he still didn't say what role I was. And then I had to go up to him and I said, Mr. Mullin, like, can I still be a part of it? He's like, you're the mayor. And I'm like, well, why did you hold that over me? You knew what I was going to do to me. But he just had that kind of that playful attitude around him too. And those of you that, spent time with him knew that he could be really playful. And I'm glad that Maurice brought up that point too of his also that wasn't a big deal. Let's move on. Like he did that to me all the time. Like, stop saying thank you. Like, let's move on. He has been an incredible influence on so many lives of South City residents, and I know that influence continues to spread throughout the community. So given his commitment to learning, he was also he was selected as Legislator of the Year from the California County Boards of Education, which is an organization I'm a part of as a county board member now, back in 2004. This is a guy who knew the importance of education and who really spoke up for students, and particularly students who had historically been marginalized. And he spoke honesty, and he was a man of incredible integrity. And I just will always appreciate that. And I think that this particular building is particularly fitting for a naming in his honor. So thank you all for letting me be a part of this conversation.
Thank you, Hector. Thank you very much. And again, last but not least, we have Susan Kennedy.
Thanks, Valerie. It's great to be here tonight. I had the opportunity to work for and with Gene during my time working for the city of South San Francisco. And I'm fortunate enough now to be working for and with his son. And even in that time that I've been working for Kevin, still have had the opportunity to work pretty closely with Gene. And I think that, the comments so far tonight really sum up very, very well who Gene was, who he is even today for people, the lives that he impacted. There's no question in my mind, this facility that we're contemplating naming for him or in his honor would not exist if it were not for his relentless effort and his passion and his vision that South San Francisco needed a facility that would promote community involvement, would promote community engagement, would provide a place for students and families and parents to be able to come and avail themselves of services that they might not have been able to obtain otherwise. I mean, the programming that has come through that facility is nothing short of remarkable. And had it not been for Gene, it would not exist. Now, there might be some variations on the theme, but it wouldn't be what it is today and what it has been up to this point. And I think that, one of the other things that has struck me, hearing various people talk about, the difference that Gene made for them, hearing Vice Mayor Nogales and Hector and Maurice. And, I happened to take a look at some of the participants, and I think I noticed that LD Gonzalez is listening in. And if memory serves me correctly, Gene was a very strong advocate for Pedro to be appointed to the council. And I can't recall the opening. It might have been Gene's. I actually know that was Rich Garbarino, but I think that, Gene has always done he always did the right thing. He was ahead of his time. I think that it is a tremendous honor. It's one that I know the family is very much in support of. I know that Gene engaged Valerie in a lot of different conversations, in his last weeks and months. And it's just something that I think would be a great honor for him. And Just thanks for inviting me to be a part of the panel. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Susan. And I should say that Gene brought his twin grandchildren to library story time quite a bit. It was always a pleasure. I think I was seeing him maybe once a week for quite a while. So it was always a pleasure to catch up with him. And he always has something going on, some history connection or education connection. But I want to thank people for putting items in the chat. Thank you, Rosa, for your kind words. And yes, we have a wonderful model that we'd love to replicate in other places. I know that to speak to getting the word out in the Old Town community, Carla has reached out personally to people, people who use the Learning Center or people she knows in the Old Town area. Thanks to Carla, and LD and Pedro are probably listening into this meeting as well. The Learning Center has been closed for our regular programs, just open for mostly for a couple of meetings and the homework program. So the normal world of being able to spread the word to everyone who comes in to take classes is a little short until we're able to open up the Learning Center and the library for more in-person programming. But we've done as well as we could get in getting the word out and giving people opportunities to speak at some public meetings, including a July public meeting of the school board, in which I did pretty much the same presentation. I think that at this point, though, I would like to tie this up with our committee and just clarify if we have consensus on a recommendation to move this item to rename the Community Learning Center in honor of Gene Mullin, moving it forward to the school board to continue on with the process. And if we do have consensus, from what I heard from all of you, it sounds like it, I would say raise your hand. Thank you. This is a wonderful legacy from Gene Mullin, education, community learning center, facility in the heart of Old Town. And I really appreciate your input and your comments and your recommendation to move this item onto the school board, and we'll let you all know when the school board convenes and meets. There's a couple of other things that have to be done. The school board will consider at an open meeting. I assume there'll be some other opportunity for some community input. Then the item, if approved by the school board, would come back to the library board to make a recommendation to city council, and finally we'll go to city council for a final recommendation in tandem with the school district's approval. So we'll keep you in the loop on these. And if there are no other comments, I again want to thank you for attending and thanking the school board members who are also in attendance, as well as Shantara's great assistance in this, this initiative. So thank you again, and we are adjourned.
Okay.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Great job, Valerie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Kennedy. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Good seeing everyone.